Doorways is a proposed science fiction series from writer George R. Martin. A pilot was shot in May 1992, starring George Newbin, Anne Gurneck, Robert Nepper, Kurtwood Smith, Max Grodunchik and Carrie Ann Moss, but was not picked up, and the project was shelved. In 2010, IDW Publishing began an adaptation of the TV pilot into comic book format. Cast: George Newbin as Dr. Thomas Mason, a doctor and amateur magician; Anne Gurneck as Kat, former servant of Thane and the Dark Lord; Robert Nepper as Thane, servant of the Dark Lord; Kurtwood Smith as Special Agent Trager, who investigates Kat's appearance; Carrie Ann Moss as Laura, a lawyer who is Thomas' girlfriend; Max Grodunchik as Dr. Roth, an FBI researcher who investigates Kat's equipment; Hoyt Axton as Jake, a friendly wanderer in a parallel world; Tisha Putman as Sissy, Jake's granddaughter. Plot: a mysterious feral woman, known only as Kat, appears in the middle of a motorway, causing some cars to crash. She fires a weapon at a truck, which explodes, and she's injured by a fragment of the resulting shrapnel. She is taken to a hospital where she is cared for by Dr. Thomas Mason. After he finishes work, Thomas visits his girlfriend Laura, with whom he discusses his mysterious new patient. Meanwhile, three dark-clad beings and a floating podium appear on the motorway at the same location where Kat appeared. The next day, Thomas discovers Kat has been removed from the hospital and is confronted by FBI Special Agent Trager, who escorts him to a secret underground lab and holding facility. There, Dr. Roth explains to Thomas that Kat's weapon and her bracelet have an unusual mixture of organic and technological properties, and don't appear to have been designed for human hands. Thomas is brought to Kat, who is being detained, and he gives her back her bracelet, which allows one of the dark-clad beings, Thane, to track her. Kat escapes the holding facility with Thomas' help, and together the two drive towards a door. Kat explains that Thane is chasing her and that, unless they reach the door before it closes, she will be trapped and killed by Thane. She further explains that the door leads to a parallel universe safer for her. The two reach the door, and are confronted by Thane, who kills Trager and several FBI agents who were also tracking them. They manage to escape through the door, just before Thane can catch them, and end up in a world where, 15 years ago, a microbe gene was created to clean up an oil spill, but it ate all petroleum in the world. They hitch a ride on a wagon with Jake and his granddaughter Sissy, who give them a ride to the nearest truck stop. While at the truck stop, Kat detects that her pursuers have materialized in this world also and tries to steal Jake and Sissy's horses to escape from them. Kat and Thomas are arrested by this world's version of Agent Trager and are held overnight to be escorted to jail in the morning. The following day, as Thomas and Kat are being escorted to jail by Trager, they hear Jake and Sissy's wagon being attacked by a bike gang. Kat rescues Sissy from being attacked, but Jake is shot by the bike gang. Thomas stabilizes Jake, and arranges with Trager to get Jake transported to a hospital in Denver. In Denver, Kat locates their next door, but they are blocked by Thane and his colleagues, until Trager sacrifices himself to allow the two to escape to a new adventure. Characters: Dr. Thomas Mason. Thomas Mason is a medical doctor who is adept at magic since his father was a stage magician, and at the start of the show serves as a nerd doctor. He has a girlfriend, Laura, and is very content with his life until everything is changed completely when he meets Kat. She brings him with her through a door to a parallel world where things are similar, but different, to our world. Kat is a fugitive from a parallel Earth ruled by aliens, who lands on this Earth and is quickly injured. She is taken to hospital where she meets Thomas, but is taken from there to an FBI holding site, where she is rescued by Thomas. The pair hitchhike to the nearest door to another parallel world, and escape to an Earth where petrol has disappeared. Thane is from this same parallel Earth as Kat, that is ruled by aliens, and he is a servant to one of these aliens, and was the owner of Kat. He doesn't consider himself human, rather a hunter of humans. He has several bio-enhancements, including a set of claws emerge from the back of his hands. Production. George R. Martin pitched the concept for Doorways in 1991 to various television networks, and ABC agreed to pick up the show. The pilot was produced with Columbia Pictures. Martin spent much of 1991 redrafting and polishing the pilot's script. This process continued until in January 1992 production was given the green light, and LeGurnek cast his Cat. But the actor that the production company wanted for Thomas George Newbin was in the middle of shooting a movie. After several hundred more auditions, it was decided to defer the shooting of the pilot until Newbin became free in May 1992. The series was originally called Doors, but this was changed after ABC expressed concern that it may be confused with either the rock band The Doors or the Oliver Stone biopic The Doors. In August 1992, a rough cut of the show was shown to ABC executives, who reacted enthusiastically and ordered 6 additional scripts for the show. Martin worked on those scripts for the next 6 months with Michael Cassatt, Ed Zuckerman, Steve DeJarnett and J. D. Feigelson. In May 1993, ABC announced that they would not be picking up Doorways' connection to Sliders. There has been speculation that Sliders was inspired by Doorways, in which the main cast also were fugitives fleeing through parallel worlds, while carrying a device that tells them where and when the next doorway opens. At the time of Sliders' launch, Evelyn C. Leeper noted the similarities to Doorways, and in response to rumors that Sliders creator Tracy Torme applied for a writing position on the show, Martin clarified in a 1995 post on Genie that it was Torme's agent that inquired about the position, and Torme has denied any connection between the two. In other media, the first draft of the pilot's script appeared in George R. Martin's 1,200-page GRRM. Hurrah retrospective in 2003, republished his Dream Songs. Hurrah retrospective in 2006. Comic book adaptation on August 30, 2010, IDW Publishing announced its forthcoming adaptation of Doorways was to be in 4 parts. When speaking of the parallel worlds, editor Mariah Huena says, "One of the most interesting is a world with no oil," which is pretty timely. Explaining the plot, she says, "It's a dark sci-fi fantasy that's not unlike the Twilight Zone in terms of taking an ordinary person and suddenly confronting them with very bizarre events and people. Tom is a total good guy, loves his girlfriend, likes his job, and just wants to help people. But when Kat shows up, she turns his comfortable world upside down." George R. Martin noted in the first issue of Doorways that artist Stefano Martino has not seen the pilot, and the visual representations of the characters and architecture are totally changed. He goes on to say that in the medium of comics without the constraints of budget there is more creative freedom. Martin says that the comic version is much cooler than the television show could ever have been. Issue number 1 was released in November 2010. All 4 issues were collected as a hardcover in July 2011.